Hey guys, so today I'm going to be looking at creepy urban legend stories. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Overton Bridge. There's an old house to the north of my hometown in Scotland called Overton House, and the legend goes that walking your dog along that bridge that leads up to the house will cause it to spontaneously leap to its death from the bridge. This is an observable thing that has actually happened at least 50 times. People will refuse to cross the bridge, as there are also people who report feeling suddenly and unexpectedly depressed after crossing. Huh? Does anyone know why though? Oh, there's an explanation for this. If I recall correctly, there is a little stream below and the running water produces some kind of sound frequency which only dogs can hear but not humans. Also, from the bridge, it looks to dogs that the bottom is not far off, and the curiosity of the frequency causes them to jump to investigate it, often to their deaths. There was one case where a dog survived though after jumping off. What frequency is that? Now I'm curious. Oh my gosh. That's creepy as though. No! Why do people keep bringing their dogs over there then? Green Eyes. I live near the Chickamauga battlefield and there is an old story of a ghost soldier. You can ride through the battlefield at night and sometimes you'll see a pair of green eyes and that's the dead soldier. It's actually just a deer. Oh. That's the thing with urban legends or myths, is that it's always like something that's like made up because someone just thought they like saw something, and then they're like, oh my god, I saw a ghost, and then they tell everyone, oh my god, I saw a ghost at this time, and then everyone goes there and they're like, oh my god, I saw it too, but it's actually just like, you know, a deer. Here in my country there is a legend that if you pee in nature, that is bush, side of tree, mound of soil, you have to say tabby tabby po, which means step aside please, or excuse me please, or else the mythical creatures residing there will curse your genital area and make you sick to death. Oh my god. I mean, it doesn't hurt to do it, so I don't see why not, right? Because you're just being polite to, like, you know, the ghost you can't see, right? Excuse me, I don't want to take a piss on your head, so please move out of the way. Like, makes sense. So, I had a football coach back in high school who was also one of my teachers for a semester. He told us one story that freaked us all out pretty bad. He's driving along when he sees a hitchhiker on the shoulder. This being back in the day and in a small town, Montana, my teacher pulled over to let the guy in without a second thought. The man was described as wearing a really old, outdated style of suit. Not quite a zoot suit, but styled in a similar baggy way. This guy looked like he was out of the 40s and sort of like a pimp. My teacher thought it was weird that he was so overdressed, it being super hot out. But maybe that was the only clothing he had. So the guy gets in next to my teacher without a word. Teacher asks him where he needs to go, and the guy just points forward. Teacher drives on. Later, my teacher tried talking to the guy, just trying to make simple conversation, but the guy wouldn't speak or even acknowledge him. He just put his hat down like he was sleeping. Out of nowhere, the guy just tips up his hat, looks out the window and says, "Stop the car, now." My teacher pulls over and lets him out, not wanting to offend a possibly crazy man. The guy stands on the side of the road for a second, and then at a dead sprint just runs off into the field besides the road, until my teacher couldn't see him anymore. He waits there for a while, thinking maybe the guy had the runs or something and didn't want to poop next to the road. After a long enough wait, my teacher gets back in the truck and starts to accelerate back on the road. The thing about really old trucks is that they don't accelerate very fast. As my teacher got back onto the road, he looked in his rear view mirror to check for a safe merge, but there wasn't a car in sight. What there was the hitchhiker on all fours like an animal, running or crawling after the truck at an inhumane speed. Meanwhile, my teacher is beginning to fishtail as he attempts to go faster, the whole time his eyes glued on the mirror, watching the man chase after his car. Eventually, he was able to get up to speed and lost sight of the guy in his mirror. When he was able to stop at a gas station to use a payphone, he called his wife at home to tell her the story and to lock up the house. She thinks he's just messing with her, and he had been talking to her coworker about the hitchhiker. When he asked why she would think that, apparently at her office in the town she worked in, one of her coworkers told her a story of the exact same thing happening to them. and it is a well-known urban legend in that town. She thought it was just folks playing with a new girl at work who had to drive home alone at night. Anyways, my teacher assured her that he was not lying, and she evidently believes him and can vouch for her side of the story because she showed up to one of the fundraisers and I asked her about it. So yeah, now I just avoid lonely roads in Montana. That's creepy! That's so scary because it's like so strange. Like you don't see a human running to you like a freaking dog. Holy, I would actually poop my pants. Like, oh my god, you know? You're just driving and you're looking at your mirror and this thing is just like zooming at you. Jeez. I'm from Germany and there is this city, Zolling, which also has a church. Next to the church, there are 2 spots in the grass where nothing grows. People claim that back in the days, some guy robbed the church and killed the pastor. He fled through the window and the moment he touched the ground outside the church, he got struck by lightning and died. Since that day, nothing grows where he touched the ground. The spot is called the Devil's Step. Well, he just got karma served to him like a second later.
Good.
Don't even feel bad at all. We have this huge rock very close to our church, but there isn't really any mountains close by, so it is said a giant threw it there when it got annoyed by the church bells. Oh, I love the stories that everyone just randomly creates, you know?
Yeah, the giant just threw it there.
Raymond Robinson was a severely disfigured man whose years of nighttime walks made him into a figure of urban legend. Robinson was so badly injured in a childhood electrical accident that he could not go out in public without fear of creating a panic, so he went for long walks at night. Local tourists who would drive along his road in hopes of meeting him called him the Green Man or Charlie No Face. They passed on tales about him to their children and grandchildren, and people raised on these tales are sometimes surprised to discover that he was a real person who was liked by his family and neighbors. Now I just feel so bad. I'm gonna Google him. Oh, that was him? I've seen him before. I mean, like, no, I haven't seen him before, but I've seen the picture of him before. Oh, should we read about this? This is a long story, though. At the age of 9, Ray's life was changed forever. Playing near the trolley tracks at Wallace Creek, Ray was challenged by his friends to climb the streetcar wire supports to fetch a bird's nest. After he made it to the top, he had something terrible happen. He made contact with the trolley wires and sent 22,000 volts of electricity jetting through his body. Severely burned and critically injured, the doctors didn't expect him to live. Raymond ended up living, but the damage to this body was staggering. The damage that was left on Ray was horrific. His body was covered in scar damage, and his left arm was amputated under his elbow. Of all the damage, his face bore the worst of it. Ray lost his eyes and nose. His mouth was completely bloated and twisted. Later, he would move into a house with his mother. He shared this house with plenty of relatives. Boredom overcame him and he eventually started taking walks around his neighborhood. People around the neighborhood became very afraid and scared of him. Many neighbors began to ask him to stay away and stay inside because he scared the children. Ray ignored this and still took his walks even late into the night. Even though he was blind, he had a walking stick he used to help him get around at night. Oh my god, the neighbors are so mean. What? The neighbors are like, stay home forever so you don't scare my kids. Screw them. Let the man walk outside, like he's already had so much happen to him and they still have the audacity to be like, stay inside. He began being discovered after taking his nightly walks. This is where the tale of the Green Man developed, or Charlie No Face he was called. There are many different reports about where the green skin originated from. Some people say he had pale green skin. Others say he used to wear his favorite green plaid shirt, and this caused a reflection on his skin. Ray became well known at this time, and many would venture out to Route 351 and look for Ray while he was walking. Many that were not scared of him would stop and chat with him. He would often give pictures in exchanges for cigarettes or beer. Oh my. See, it's always like urban legends that are like this. Like they have a lot of backstory to them, but no one really knows about the backstory, and they're just like no face person at night. Scary! The library in my hometown is attached to a 200-plus-year-old mansion that was said to be haunted, specifically the attic, which is huge and shadowy and tends to collect dead pigeons. The local paper even did a story about the supposed haunting, with photo proof. The library did lock-in nights in the summer, and they'd tell scary stories in the attic, which wasn't so bad because you were with the group. Later on, I ended up working at the library and would have to go up in the attic alone at night to make sure no one stayed behind after we closed. The attic had a gated stairway with a lock, and a few times when I was up there alone in the house, I'd hear it bang shut. I believe it's haunted. I do believe it's haunted. I believe in haunted houses. Scary. Well, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoy. Tell me in the comments down below what your thoughts are, and as always, thanks for watching. Hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!